Hey Spots, it's Justine from French Fries and Feelings. Before we continue on with this episode, I wanted to let you all know that Natasha and I recorded this on the Sunday after the 2024 presidential election. And as you can imagine, we had a lot of feelings. So, just a fair warning. Hope you enjoy.
All right, here we are with our second episode.
We are recording this episode on November 10th, which is a few days after the presidential election.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling, Natasha?
Better than I was Wednesday morning. That day, that was tough.
Yeah.
I would spontaneously just start crying randomly, and yeah.
I think we should start off by talking about our feelings regarding the election and what we went through this week. And then we can talk a little bit more about how this impacts our lines of work.
Okay.
So walk me through Tuesday and Wednesday for you.
So Tuesday, I kind of fell asleep around like 10:30, 11, and I was just like, I'll just deal with things in the morning. And then I got up at like 4 a.m. and I checked social media and I saw the news break, and I was just awake after that. Like, I couldn't even go back to bed. I cried. Just so happens that my mom was still awake. I had texted my dad. They were up feeling the same things I was feeling. One of my coworkers, who's very young, she texted me at like 6:30 in the morning, like, can we get coffee? Because I can't deal with today. So that's like the very beginning of the morning before the sun was even out. All these feelings, all these thoughts, all these emotions. Then I get to the office, and not even into the office yet. On my way to the office, it was so somber outside. Like, everyone was just quiet.
It was like
It was eerie.
pin drop.
Yeah. It was so creepy. And even like, now I'm in the office and speaking with my coworker, my supervisor, and everyone just had like the same face. Everyone was dressed in black, like we were in mourning,
Yeah.
which was so weird.
Same. I purposely wore black that day.
I don't want to say I purposely wore it, but it kind of just fell into that. And then to see my office dressed in the same manner, it was just very like, oh, so we're all feeling something right now.
Yeah.
I kind of did my check-ins throughout the day. I didn't want to speak with any of my clients that day. Like, I was just like, I can't handle what they're dealing with right now. But I remember calling one client in particular just to, try to schedule a visit with her eventually. And I start all of my phone calls with my clients the same way, like, hey, just calling to check in. How are you doing? And it was just so autopilot for me that I didn't think, like, I really don't want to know what you're feeling right now because I can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
But I said it, and this client is in her mid to late 80s, I want to say. And she just let out the deepest sigh and goes, I am not okay today. And that broke me. And then she's like, but what else am I going to do right now? And I was just like, yep, that's the last call for the day. I'm not doing this anymore.
Too many feelings.
Yeah. And then, I checked in with some of my own family members and friends, with you as well. How are you and things like that. And personally, from hearing from my aunts and my grandma and my mom, like, that they weren't doing well, I felt the need to send flowers. So I was like immediately ordering flowers to send to these women in my life.
I love that.
Just
I love that.
a note of appreciation, because I'm just like, I need you to know that I see you. Your voice was heard by me.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen your struggles. I've seen all these things growing up, and I need you to know it wasn't in vain. So that was my Wednesday.
Wow.
Yeah. How about you?
Ooh. My Tuesday was very, I had a lot of anxiety on Tuesday, and I'm someone that doesn't watch TV. Like, I watch Netflix or like the streaming channels, but I don't watch live TV that much. I think the only show that I watch on live TV is Abbott Elementary, which like you have to watch Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, of course.
But I remember on Tuesday I came home from work and I just sat on my couch and turned on the TV. And I couldn't do anything else. Like my brain was just not allowing me to do anything else because I was so anxious. And I remember like 7 p.m. came, and that's when a lot of at least the first polling stations were closing. And so by like 8 p.m., 9 p.m., he had already won the typical ones that
we all knew.
That we all knew. Were we shocked that he won Alabama? No, we're not shocked he won Alabama. Like, of course he won Alabama. So by 10 o'clock, all of the swing states were like still
swinging,
right? I remember at one point she was winning Pennsylvania, and I was like, oh yeah, like this is great, so hopeful, so excited. And I remember checking Georgia, and she was also winning, not by a lot, but she was still winning. I was like, oh my God, yes, queen, like doing her thing. And by 11, those two states turned red, and I was like, oh shit, what's happening?
Yeah.
And so I kind of freaked out, and I was like, okay, I need to go to bed. I need to go to sleep. I need to just not be in this anxious headspace.
Same.
Force myself to go to bed. Don't know where I found the willpower to do that, but I did. However, I woke up 3 times that night. So the first time that I woke up, it was about 1:30, and I think I looked at my phone and he had won Georgia. And I was like, oh shit. But I was like,
still hopeful.
It's, there's something there. And he also won North Carolina, and I was like, okay, like, not surprising. It's the South.
Right.
What do we expect, And then I saw that Pennsylvania was red, and I saw that Michigan was red, and Wisconsin was red, and Arizona was red, and I was like, oh no, what's going on here? So I had to go to bed again. I don't know how I did that, but then I was sleeping, and I had a dream that he won, and I woke up in a panic. I was like, oh, no, and I looked at my phone. Actually, I didn't want to look at my phone. It was around 3:30 in the morning, and I was like, I don't want to look at my phone. And I tried, toss and turn to just not look at my phone. And I was like, screw it. I'm looking at my phone. And he won Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So down goes Georgia, down goes North Carolina, down goes Pennsylvania. All the other swing states were red, except for, I can't remember which one out west. And I was like, oh my God. He was at 267. And I was like, oh no, this is bad. This is really bad. And I just started tossing and turning about like just all the things that like his policies could do. And I was like, okay, I need to watch something to just help me fall asleep. I don't even remember what I put on. I think I put on like a random documentary, and I just fell back asleep. I woke up again at 4:30, 4:45, and I looked at my phone. It was still the same. He was still at 267. So I was like, okay, maybe. And then I woke up to my alarm at 6:30, and I looked at my phone, and he won. And I think that I've gone through all 5 stages of grief this week.
Same.
I have never experienced something like this outside of loss, right? Losing someone, yes, you experience grief. And we talked about grief in our first episode. But this was like...
This was more, for me, yes, I'm grieving for myself, but as we both know, we're in the field that we're in. Like,
Yeah.
we have so many lives attached to us.
Yeah.
Personally and professionally.
Yes.
So it was just like I felt every wave of emotion
Oh, yeah.
possible. And it's kind of like I felt them all at the same time and couldn't differ. It was like that scene in Inside Out where everything and all the emotions are arguing, and it's just like, what is happening
Overwhelming.
right now? Yeah.
Yeah. I got ready for work in silence. I usually am like, watching a video, listening to music, singing my Beyonce. Purposely wore all black, and I'm walking to the bus stop, and I get on my express bus, and I go on TikTok. And every single video that I'm seeing on my For You page is people reacting to him winning. And videos of black women just crying and expressing how angry they are.
And how deep this really goes.
Yeah. And I don't know why. And I think it was just I think I was so overwhelmed and so anxious and all these emotions that I just couldn't stop shedding tears. I wasn't crying. I was shedding tears. And like, some people shed a tear or two and like we move on and like live our best lives. No. For the entire 35 minutes that I was on that bus, it was just tears just rolling down my face. Yeah. And I just couldn't stop the tears.
Yeah, that day I kind of had to shy away from social media a little bit. I didn't want to watch television. I couldn't even fathom like the radio. Like I literally not made a playlist, but I checked on Spotify for a 90s R&B, and that's where I zoned out all day.
Yeah.
Like I just could not be bothered with anything and anyone.
It was a surreal moment. And I got off the bus and I'm walking to work and I'm passing by people and everyone just looks so somber and just
defeated.
Yeah. Yes. Everyone looked defeated. So here's where it gets real emo.
Oh,
okay.
No.
So the job that I work at has a Head Start program. And if people don't know, part of his policies is getting rid of
DOE.
the entire country's Department of Education, which impacts
millions.
Head Start. Yeah. Millions and millions of kids and funding for education and Head Start programs, especially in low-income areas. And I just see all of these kids outside just waiting to go in, and they're laughing and they're running up and down the ramp with their friends, and I'm looking at them and I was like, oh my God.
Their innocence is just gone and they don't even know it.
Like, by next year, you probably won't, like, physically be here. Or just we won't have this program anymore.
Yep.
So I went upstairs to my office and I sobbed for 45 minutes. And I just couldn't stop crying. And I wasn't crying for me.
Yeah.
Was not crying for me. No matter how things have gone or my life and the circumstances, I'm always going to be okay. Black women are trained to survive. We are expected to survive. Yeah. And so we survived 4 years of whatever the hell his presidency was. And frankly, I think I've blocked out those 4 years because it was just it was a train wreck. Oh, yeah. Right? And I'm not crying for me. I'm crying for those kids outside. I'm crying for the older adults that we help. I'm crying for mentally ill individuals who, depend on Social Security disability, on Medicaid, on welfare, on Section 8. I'm crying for people who have dreams of going to college. They come from families with no income, first generation kids. Yep. Like, I'm crying for them because they will potentially lose the opportunity to have what we have.
Correct.
To have more than what we have. To have more than what their families have ever had.
Yeah.
It's sick. It is so sick.
It's heartbreaking.
It is the saddest thing I've experienced this year, I would say, or just I don't even know how to describe how I feel. There's no, like,
And
I
that's the worst
can't even
part.
compare it.
That's the worst part is like when you're asked, well, how are you? Because like, for example, on Friday, I called my dad about something and he stops mid conversation and goes, well, how are you feeling? And I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, I truly don't know how to answer that. I was like, because right now in this moment, I'm okay. But give me 10 minutes. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how
Yeah.
to answer that anymore.
Yes. There's no words. I still don't have the words to describe how I feel. I want to say numb, right?
Yeah.
I guess I can say that. But in terms of my 5 stages of grief, here's how it went. The first step that I experienced was bargaining. I remember when I woke up, I think the second time, and I saw that he won Pennsylvania, North Carolina, I was like, God, please, please do not let this man win. I was like, God, I will go to church. Like,
can I tell you, I did.
Oh my
that
God.
Tuesday, I had a visit, and the client is still in a rehab. And as I was signing out to leave, I saw that there was a chapel off the side of it.
Mhm.
So I asked security, I was like, hey, do you mind if I step in really quick? And she's like, sure, no problem. I went in and I prayed. I literally prayed for our well-being. And I'm just like, please, just...
Bargaining.
Yeah.
Bargaining with the higher power.
Yeah.
Just for some sanity, just for some clarity, some knowledge that we are being supported,
Yeah.
Just don't let this man win. That was step number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Step number 2, I skipped all the way to depression. It was
Instant.
just like
instant.
It was just, you know what? No, it was denial. I was in denial because I was so numb. I was so numb in the morning. And then by the time that I got on the bus and I got to TikTok and all these tears were flowing, it was straight depression.
I think for me, it went depression and anger very quickly, like in the same day.
Yeah. Oh, I was
Yeah.
angry as hell.
Yeah.
I was pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
I was pissed. And there are people who I have on Instagram who I know, we've grown up together.
Oh, I unfriended, unfollowed so many people because I was just like, for me, everyone is entitled to their own political opinions, your own parties, do your thing. But for me, it's more of a, I know you.
Mm-hmm.
The things and
I know where you
policies
come
that
from.
he is implementing have nothing to do with you. You are not in the tax bracket that he is trying to save, boo.
I'm not even in the tax bracket. No,
Te digo.
in the tax bracket.
Like, I don't understand. And then when you ask, well, what exactly are you in support of? Like, help me understand what's going on. They can't form a complete sentence.
No, it's always one of two things. It's he's going to make the economy better.
How?
Which, like, really?
That's what I'm saying. Like, break it down for me. Speak to me as if I'm in these Head Start programs. Make me understand.
Because the understanding is that the way that our economy is now and our taxes are now is because of the Biden administration. People don't understand if you would just use Google, which is our best friend. She's free. She's gorgeous. She's serving looks. She's serving knowledge, realness. If you would just Google our tax policies in the United States, you would know that we are still under the tax policy that he I don't even want to say his I don't even want to say his name. He lowercase h that he implemented. We're still under that tax policy for like another year and a half. Mm-hmm. So if you're seeing more taxes coming out of your check,
it's going to be worse the next 4 years.
If you see that you're getting less money in tax returns, it's because of him. I don't know how many people have to tell others this. They don't get it. They truly, wholeheartedly, either you don't get it or you're just choosing not to understand.
I'm going to go with the latter.
Sad. Deplorable. Disgusting. 0 out of 10. And then the other issue is immigration. And let me talk to the 56% of Hispanic men and women who voted for that man.
Mm.
I put this on my Instagram story, and I said, if you grew up and you benefited from food stamps, from welfare, you have family that's on Medicaid with home health aides.
Still to this day.
Still today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You have Section 8. You have some sort of affordable housing. You have children who have gone to college with full
FAFSA.
financial aid income. In New York State, it's TAP.
Well, let's not even go up to college. Plain up elementary school.
Elementary school.
Elementary school.
Public elementary school where your kids are getting fed 2 times a day. If you are someone who benefits from that, how dare you?
Correct.
How dare you literally vote against
All of it.
all the things that you receive, or at least some of it?
Mm-hmm. Or have been, like you said, impacted by it at some point in your life.
I don't get it. I do not understand. I don't understand how you could vote for somebody who's trying to take away the things that you need
To survive.
to survive.
Not even
For
live.
survival.
Survive.
Survival.
Like,
you need these
What
things
do you think
to
is going to
survive.
happen? Let's say February. A month after. A month
Sure.
into this.
Sure,
What do you
sure,
think
sure.
is going to happen?
That's a great question that unfortunately we're going to find out.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate, but we are going to find out. I also, said in a post that if you don't have these things, but you grew up with all of these social services and all of this, financial and government assistance that was necessary for your upbringing and for your survival, I'm so thankful that you no longer have to depend on those things. So happy that you are living a fruitful life, right? Where you don't have to depend on the government or social services to have these things for survival for you, for your kids, for your family, etc. However, there are 1 to 2 decisions in your life that you make that bring you right back to where you started. You think that because you hit a different tax bracket, that because you live in a nice apartment, that you have a car, that gives you the automatic right to vote for someone who's trying to take away the things that you grew up with
To get you where you are
to
now.
get you where you are today. Why do people forget where they came from?
Girl.
How dare you forget where you came from?
Mm.
It does not make any sense to me.
At all. I don't know if it was you or another friend who's also in social services. I had seen a post, and I sent it to you or them. I spoke to so many people this week. And I can't remember the post now, but I remember telling them I am doing the bare fucking minimum at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get it twisted. I will fight tooth and nail. I have fought tooth and nail for my clients. I will we write at dawn type shit.
Love that.
But now I feel exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And I know coming into this new administration, I am going to be so burnt out, and it hasn't even hit yet.
Because you already lost. We lost.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Like,
why
how do we
we're so
fight?
upset.
For our clients, for our family members, because as I mentioned previously, my parents are at retirement age.
Yeah.
My grandparents, long been retired, but they are small business owners. They are the ones receiving the Social Security. Mm-hmm. They are the ones receiving not Medicaid. They're not on Medicaid. Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
So then what? And before anyone says anything like, oh, well, they should have saved, they should have did this, I need people to understand that with immigrants, when they first come to this country, regardless of legal or illegal or whatever the case is, they are not given the same handout as to American citizens.
Never.
They are fighting tooth and nail to get the very little that they are getting so that their children and their grandchildren and those that come after them will eventually benefit from those sacrifices that they made. Speaking as a first gen. Again, I say first gen very loosely because my mom was 8 when she came to this country.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather, rest his soul, he served in the U.S. Navy while in Cuba. He served in Guantanamo. He served for the U.S. Navy. Asked me if he ever received anything, any benefits when he officially moved to the United States. Nope, not a dime.
Wow.
To this day, I'm still fighting to try to get some of his benefits. They tell me they can't find any of his records. Mind you, I've submitted every single document that I have stating that he served in the United States Navy.
Disgusting.
But when he came here, even though he had all those accolades, he worked retail to provide for his family. So please don't tell me that, oh, they should have done this and they should have done that. No, they did all the things that they needed to do so that their family was taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with my dad's side of the family. Puerto Rican born grandparents came to the mainland. Cool. My grandmother was a recipient of all the things. My dad and his siblings grew up benefiting from all the things that now as adults, I can proudly say that my dad and his siblings have not had any benefits as adults. Cool.
Great.
As you said, you did the thing.
The American dream.
Correct. But like you said, one wrong step and that could all be taken away.
Absolutely.
And I can say for my dad in particular, I'm not going to speak for any of my aunts and uncles, for my dad, because we've had these conversations, he tells me all the time, do I want to go back to that life? No, but that life made me who I am today.
Yeah. I have worked in neuropsychology clinics and I have encountered people who were very successful people, very wealthy individuals with high-paying jobs, and they own a house, and they have all the things that society tells you that you need to have. But one accident, one slip and fall, one hit to the head, they lose their job, they have no health insurance, they lose their house, they lose everything that they had, and they depend on disability, or they fight so hard to get Social Security disability, and all the time they get denied. They have to rely on Medicaid. Sometimes they have to turn to food stamps. There's so many things that they had and they lost in 1 second, maybe less of a second. You lose everything, and everything that you voted against are the things that you're actually going to need.
Yep.
It's so bizarre. It's bizarre. But let's go back to our Latinos. Talk to our people, please.
We got to talk to everybody.
Please. As a unit. Why?
So, super transparent moment. I have an aunt and uncle, and I'm putting it out there. Don't give a shit right now.
Oh, Lord.
They are supporters.
Oh, sweet mother of Jesus.
Again, to each their own, do your thing. They have not been those supporters that are like throwing it in your face and all over social media. So again, to each their own. However, this particular past Friday, we have like this ginormous family group chat. And my aunt.
Oh, no, not the family group chat.
My aunt sends like the free COVID link or whatever. And that irked every being in my soul. So I know me. I know my sarcastic ass mouth. And I promise you the only reason I did not respond in that chat because my grandfather's in that chat. I called my dad and I'm like, hey, so I was on my way to a visit at that. I'm like, I have a very snarky remark to say about your sister. So I'm going to tell you instead of putting it in the chat. And he goes, okay.
What was the remark?
If she's such a supporter and he and his peoples don't believe in COVID, why are you sending me COVID vaccine information for? Keep it to yourself. I don't want it. Like, no venga con eso.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. And my dad's just like, listen, just.
But didn't he call our island trash? I'm so confused. confused.
Mind you, my uncle, who's also a supporter, vacations and was trying to buy property on the island for years. Explícame.
It doesn't make any sense.
At all.
It doesn't make any sense.
Like, I don't understand at all. And it's funny because I saw this TikToker that I follow, and she says, que no venga mi gente, when it comes to Christmas, blaring preciosa, porque no hay nada preciosa en que lo hiciste.
And I agree.
Just saying.
I 100% agree. And I do love me some preciosa. Shout out to Mark Anthony.
Seriously.
That is the one.
Mm-hmm.
But I will not be blasting that this year because I won't be playing it till 2029.
9.
Oh my God.
It seems so far.
2029. What are we supposed to do? Like, we've talked about our grief, and I still haven't accepted, obviously. I don't think you have either. But what do we do as human service workers now?
Research?
Yeah.
Of how to explain things to our clients. Because for me, I'm going to put it out there because I've said it before. I don't know all the things.
No one knows all the things.
Our clients seem to think that we do.
Of course they do. We know everything. We know everyone in the government.
Right.
We know all of the policies.
We know their bank accounts.
We know how much they make. Of course, we know
all the
everything.
things.
Yeah.
So I feel it is up to me to know some of the things or know as much as I can to help as much as I can.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's important. I agree. And I do want to say that we are very privileged to live in the state of New York.
Absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
Let's start there. We are so privileged to live in this state because the government that we have, the majority of the people who live in the state have voted to recognize the importance of having said policies or said laws to protect the people that live here. I am very fortunate. And I will, I used to complain about living in New York City because, there's like 3 rats per person in the city. And it's loud and sometimes it smells like pee all the time.
And it's ridiculously expensive for no apparent reason.
Don't come here. Do not come here. You don't want to live in a studio
that costs like $5,000.
$2,500 in a 6th floor walk up, and it's on the 6th floor. But if that's what you want, go off, queen. Do what you want to do. But I will never complain about living.
Oh, moving forward, no.
Oh my God,
I can't.
Never again.
I can't. And that's another thing because you and I, we love to travel.
We do.
And now it's kind of like I saw that map of the blue states, and it's just like, where do I go?
I'm Colorado. I'll see you soon, boo.
I'm glad I went when I went.
I have not been there, but you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to Colorado. Don't know what we do over there. I know there's boulders, and that's about it. You will catch me there. You will never.
And it's so funny because one of my friends sent me a video or something of Disney in a day, which I've done before. It was great, but now I literally was just like, Florida's broken. I'm not going.
Not going there either.
No me invita porque no voy.
Don't call me. Not going to Miami. Sorry, Miami. Georgia? No. No, thanks.
I can't.
Texas? You're never seeing me. You are never seeing me. Shout out to Virginia. I will go there. Little historical trip. Go to Virginia Beach. Go to Busch Gardens. Live my best life. I will see you soon, Virginia.
Now, considering, we're talking about travel at this point.
Yeah.
How do you feel about international travel?
Ooh.
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Sincerely nervous.
It's almost, I thought about this.
I'm scared that we'll be able to fly out and then can't come back. That's what I'm scared of.
I'm not that scared of that. I'm scared that when I travel and I show my American passport that people are going to roll their eyes and call me stupid because I live in the United States and he's our president, which frankly, I welcome it. If you see me at Homeland Security of your country and you see my blue passport, it's okay to call me stupid because, frankly, I don't want to live there either. Like, if you have space in your country, please take me. I will gladly move to Switzerland and drink out of fresh water out of a lake and roll down a grassy hill and have a couple of cows in my backyard. Like, I will live my best life. I don't know German. I don't know French. I don't know Italian, but I'll learn it real quick. Okay? I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. But I don't fear that. I feel that might be a bigger risk for people who are not born here.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
Right.
Because, yes, there are people who have passports who are able to leave the country that were not born here.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm not mistaken, doesn't your passport show you the country that you were born
from? Yeah.
So I think more about them.
My mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, denaturalization now is just like, that's been on my mind so heavy. And somehow I don't know how the algorithm works on social media, but I have been stuck on that side of TikTok for the last 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been eating at my soul because I am now more nervous about that going on. And I'm just like, how do I deal with this now? So I've been reading up on it, and it says mainly, apparently it's been going on from 1990 up until 2017. Statistically, it says it's about 11 people per year within that time frame. Cool. From 2019, I believe it said, it's been 1,600 per year. That's a ginormous increase.
Yeah.
But it's also saying that the people on this chopping block are... It's a federal thing. It would have to go to federal court in order to be enacted per person. Like,
right.
They have to present why they're being sent back to their home country.
Yeah.
And for the most part, from what I'm seeing, it's for people who have a criminal record, those who... It's kind of like a last hired, first fired kind of situation as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the simplest term of it. But still, again, as a child of an immigrant, it's concerning. Like, I'm at a point where I'm just like, sit down, don't move with my mom. Like, don't do anything.
Yeah. Just stay home.
Yeah.
Listen to your music. Does she know how to knit?
I don't know.
Crochet? Maybe she can knit
crochet. I think she knows how to crochet.
Great. She can make us some scarves.
Yeah. But then that sucks too because she's literally retiring.
Yeah.
It's just like you busted your ass
your entire
to get
life.
to this point of freedom, pretty much.
Yeah.
And now we're going into this administration. It's just like, tate quieta. Don't do nothing.
Yeah. I don't know what to do. And I don't think we're supposed to know what to do right now.
Yeah.
But
I don't think anyone knows what to do.
And that's
from either side of the fence.
But I can say that as a Latina, I'm so ashamed. Majority of the people who live in this country that are Hispanic, they come from parents who risked their lives to come here for a better life.
Absolutely.
Or they themselves came here and risked their lives for a better life.
Mm-hmm.
You came here for a purpose. You came here for a reason. And it was to have the American dream or whatever.
However that looks
whatever
to you.
that looks like.
Yeah.
You have family that struggles financially with social services that depend on those things.
Mm-hmm.
You have opportunities because of where you come from. Extra protections depending on what state you live in because of your situation and where you come from. And you went and you voted against that. Why? Because your passport is blue? Because your address says the United States? Because you have a United States phone number? Like, you never forget where you came from. Mm-hmm. And you voted against where you came from.
Mm-hmm.
It's so disheartening to know people who grew up in poverty and grew up with parents who worked so hard and were so disrespected by this country from people like him and his followers.
Who are still going to be disrespected.
Oh, the most disrespectful at this point.
Like, they don't give a shit how you voted. It's
No.
literally what you look like and where you come from. Because even though you voted for him, and if you live up in Hunts Point, baby girl, no one gives a shit.
You're one of us. You will always be one of us, because when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror, you are one of us. You're not them. You will never be them.
And don't get it twisted. I grew up in Hunts Point. That's my hood.
Shout out to Hunts Point.
I'm just saying.
Well, scary place. But shout out to Hunts Point.
That's what I'm saying.
Um,
But, okay. You coming from the mental health aspect.
yeah.
How are you going to try and do what's needed for your clientele?
I think it's this presidency, this new administration, and their policies, it's going to have a snowball effect. It will start with one thing and then lose control, and then at the core of it, it probably will be mental health.
Yeah.
Like, it can start off with, I'm losing certain benefits, or things are too expensive, or I can't afford the cost of living because of tariffs and, you know, businesses shutting down. It's all like a domino effect, but the core of it will be, I'm anxious, I'm depressed, I'm worried, this, you know, adjusting to all of this. It's going to be a domino effect.
For sure.
And unfortunately, I'm in this position, in this role, where I'm addressing all the dominoes. I'm not just addressing the one, the core. I'm addressing the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
And so in the next, I don't know how many days we have, 70 whatever days, my goal is to plan. Because that's all I can do. Plan and research and see if there are any organizations in New York City.
And even that, how do we navigate for ourselves within these new things that are going to happen, not only to help our clients, but to help ourselves? It's just like, if Social Security gets cut and Medicare gets cut, and, you know, we've already seen within the nonprofit sector, things have already been cut.
Yep.
Where does that leave us in our career paths?
Yeah. And I don't think that I've spent the time to think about me, because if I go down that path, it's scary. Right now, I feel like I'm focusing on the people that I help, because I feel like there is a better solution for them. But if I think about, well, I work in a nonprofit, so a lot of the programs are going to lose funding, or we're just going to lose the programs altogether. And then we're just going to see the programs dwindle and the organizations dwindle little by little until there's nothing left and we're all unemployed. Like, I can't go down that rabbit hole, because I will shave my head. Like, I will take some clippers, 2007 Britney, go at it. And I don't think I would look cute bald. I think I would look like a milk dud. Or Mr. Potato Head, if I grow my mustache out.
Stop.
And I'm just saying. No, because I will shave my head.
That's so funny.
I know it is, but also it's not, because it will happen. But I think that I'm using the anger that I feel to fuel my advocacy and my research, and I've started that, and you know, we still have some things to look at and things to research, and obviously as time goes on and we approach the new dawn of the new administration, I think states like blue states will actively put certain things in place to protect us. But unfortunately, we can't protect people that live outside of this state.
Facts.
And that is a large majority of this country. And it's sad.
Yeah.
It's really, really sad.
Yeah. Like, it makes me wonder also because, like I said, I work for a for-profit now, which is whole world of difference
Yeah.
than what I'm used to. And my clients pay for their services, whether it be out of pocket or through long-term care insurance, which will also fall into this social service aspect.
Great.
Help people understand that.
Love that. Fun.
All of the caregivers that are hired through my agency are all from other countries.
Whew.
So now it's a matter of if this denaturalization thing actually takes place, will they be part of this quote unquote go home situation? And if they are, now where does that leave these elderly clients who depend on these people for daily assistance?
Yeah.
So it's not for, we're not coming at people who are dependent on social services because many people are on Medicaid who have home health aides through Medicaid.
Yep.
But then there's the other half that get it privately paid. So just imagine you're paying $600-$700 a day for these services, and then it's taken away because of politics.
Mm-hmm.
So on either side of the fence, we are all dealing with something that all boils down to the same thing.
Yep. I didn't think about that. And the majority of home health aides are
Not from this country.
not from this country.
And they're first gen in this country.
First gen in this country, or they just got to this country.
Correct.
I actually wrote a paper in grad school about my grandmother and her life, right? And she was raised in rural farm town in Puerto Rico, and her core learning, right, is learning how to take care of a household and children and a husband and be a housewife, right? And when she came here, she, worked in factories. She married her husband, and then she became housewife, right? For 22 years, she was a housewife. She took care of the house. She did all the things she needs to do. She didn't have a job. They got a divorce. He left her. And so when you have all these skills ingrained in you, right? You already know how to take care of people for free. What do?
Become a home attendant.
You become a home attendant, and you get paid to do the things that you were raised to do. And there are so many immigrant women
who are coming here and doing that job. And it's not only women who were raised to be the housewife. I remember I had a client when I was working for Children's Services. The mom, very educated woman, spoke very eloquently, from Colombia, if I'm not mistaken. She was a lawyer, a practicing lawyer in her country. And when she got to the U.S., because she did not speak the language properly, she was never afforded any opportunities to practice within her field of study. And the only job that she can get was as a home attendant. And the way she provided for her children was not only being a home attendant, but she would get up at the crack of dawn to go and collect plastic bottles to get some extra money because being a home attendant did not pay enough to take care of her 2 kids by herself. Like, that story stays with me forever because it's just like no matter how hard you fight for the things that you know is right for yourself as a woman, as a Latina woman, it's still not enough.
It will never be enough.
That's the sad part.
Yeah. I do want to thank the 93% of Black women who voted for her, for our queen. And she's not, she's not the end-all, be-all, and there's still a lot of kinks in her policies as well.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of gray areas, a lot of things that she could have done better to really attract more voters.
For sure.
But it was definitely not him.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do, but I guess all we have to do is survive for 4 more years of this.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, that's just saying that 2029 is the end of this mayhem is nauseating.
Yeah.
But what are we like? What, I don't know what to do. But in the next 4 years, we are going to just do our best because that's all we can do,
Absolutely.
and to advocate to the best of our ability for our clients and for
ourselves.
for ourselves, for the government, for funding, for programs that protect the policies and rights that keep our clients alive and surviving. Using our voice as Afro-Latinas and connecting with our communities.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I'll stop being mad and I will stop feeling disgusted by the large percentage of Hispanic people that voted for him, because at the end of the day, it's everyone does it for a reason.
Correct.
I don't have to understand what that reason is. No one has to understand what that reason is. But it all happens for a reason. I don't know what the reason is. Frankly, I don't care. But eventually I will not be mad. And maybe I will work to advocate for you. Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see. Depending on the day, what I ate for breakfast, like,
How you approach me.
Yeah, like,
yeah, and please don't come with the I'm entitled to this.
Because you're not. You're
or
absolutely not.
That's your job to do this.
It is, but
to an extent, it is our job.
Correct.
So, and FYI, we don't technically work for you.
That's true.
Like, you're not paying me privately to do all the things.
Correct.
We have caseloads of other people we have to do all the things for.
Mm-hmm.
So, just saying.
Yeah, and it's like, if you work a nonprofit, yeah, this is what we get paid to do, but like the government isn't even paying us that much.
Oh, that's a whole other topic of conversation.
A whole other conversation of feelings.
Well, this felt good to get this out.
It was very cathartic. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I feel less angry. I feel less like I need to shave my head. And I feel inspired. I feel that I'm not alone, that you're not alone in how we are experiencing this grief and this loss.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see what happens.
Yes. And on the next episode, it won't be so heavy, hopefully.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Fingers all the way crossed. Yeah. But this was French fries and feelings, and we had a lot of feelings. Still no French fries though. But we're working on it. Maybe in 2025
we'll have French fries.
We'll have French fries.